and welcome to We Repair. So today I'm working on an Oppo A17. I think you can pretty much guess what happened to it. So we're going to do a full LCD digitizer replacement on it today. For all intents and purposes, the only thing I've pre-done is I've removed the SD card. If you don't do that, you're going to be in a whole world of pain when you try and take the back off this device. So I've not done one of these before, but I've done a quick squiz on how to get the back open, just so we can get in there, and then the rest we're going to go through as we go. So first thing we're going to do is get this back off. Now, I'm led to believe you can lever between this black plastic rim and the case, and it should be quite easy to get apart. How easy it actually is, I don't know. But we're going to give it a go and see what happens. There you go. So I managed to get my spudger in there already quite easily. And I'm hoping it's just going to be clipped all the way around the outside. Very similar to the Samsung A10. In the same way as that one, I would imagine, probably just be careful around the buttons in the corners, because it's going to be a little bit risky because of the flexes and things, so just don't go too far in, and you should be all right, I would imagine. So that's that off. The corners always tend to be a bit of a challenge on these, I find. So it tends to be a bit of a sort of pinch point. There we go. And then usually once you've got one corner out, the rest isn't too bad. So let's just work our way around. See if we can get this other corner out. And then we should be on easy street at that point. There's no sensors attached to the back of this, so I'm hoping that this is just going to be a straight lift out job. Oops. Quite a lot of force needed to get the spudger in there to start with. I don't want to bend it too much at the top, just because I'm conscious that I might crack the case. The case also does go around the cameras as well, so just be mindful of that. Now, is there anything attached to the back of this? There is a flex attached to the back of this, so we'll just be careful. I didn't think there was going to be. So we won't pull it too much. We're going to have to free this top corner. There we go. Ooh, and the flex came anyway. So there we go. We did take a fingerprint sensor with us, so just be mindful of that when you do this. So the fingerprint sensor was there. So if you're doing what I do, don't wiggle it off quite as harsh, because you could damage that flex, so just be careful. So, having not taken one of these apart, next thing we're going to do is pull loads of screws out of it. I've got a magnetic nut to one side. So we'll start down the bottom. There's a tamper protect screw here as well, so if you're intending on trying to return this thing, just be aware that you will break the seal. It will be obvious that you've worked on it. So this down the bottom here, I would imagine, is going to be our speaker assembly. I would have thought, if it's anything like Samsung. Now, the bit I haven't spoken about, I'm not doing a standard screen replace, I'm doing a whole front frame replacement as well. So let me just show you the new part that will really help. So you'll see we've got our screen, we've got our mid-frame with all of the parts attached already. So I'm going to do a complete replacement, which means I pretty much have to take everything out of here. So yeah, speaker down there. So these are going to be interesting. Vibrate motor, the bottom board and things are going to be a little bit challenging to get out, but we'll work our way through and see how far we can get. So a lot of this is just removing screws, and then when you get to the smaller components, they're either stuck in, they usually are stuck in all fairness, or they're just clipped into place. So we'll work through and see how far we can get without heat. We're nearly there. Nearly there. There are a couple of different size screws in here as well, so just be mindful of where you're taking things out from, because you will need to go back in the same places. Right, this is where now we're going to get a little bit interesting, because, as I say, having not taken one of these apart before, there is some tape here by the looks of it, holding this top piece in. I'll try and get that off. So that's off now. Is there anything else we need to be wary of? There's a button flex just there. So I think we'll probably just go for this. There we go. Cool. So there you are, that's that out. We'll disconnect this first so it's not in our way. That's our fingerprint sensor out. Pop that off to one side. Okay, so we have got some Captain tape holding the battery connector down. That's going to be our LCD cable. Not sure what that one is yet, but we'll find out. And then there's another cable. That's probably the pass-through to get to the top of the bottom board. So disconnect it here. Next thing we'll do is we'll get this battery out. Now the battery is going back in, so we do want to try and reuse this as best we can. In my experience, they never want to come out without heat. And this one might be the same. Let's just see if we can free it a little bit and get it moving. I'm not going to do too much. You can hear it's going. There we go. So there's our battery out. Came out in one nice flat piece, that's great. Generally I wouldn't leave her against the battery. So we are going to have to take this ribbon out as well by the looks of things. Just carefully peel that up. It's stuck in with some tape along the bottom there as well, so we'll try and reuse that. In fact, actually what we'll do is if we just transplant that now. Is this going to come up in one big piece? It might do. Oh, come on. There we go. It's coming. There we are. I'm just going to pop this one back in here. Straight away. Try and line it up as best we can. There we go. That's pretty good. Good. Okay, now we'll take this out. So we need to get a little spudger. And we'll just free this little cable here and take it straight up. I might just leave that attached to the board just for ease. Now, is this going to come out in one easy piece? Oh, look at that. That never happens. And do we need to take this out as well? We might do. Let's have a look at the other one. Yeah, so we've got a little filter there and a little piece here as well. So we'll just transfer all of this over. I'm going to try and reuse as much as I can because I haven't actually bought these. If I can get it out. We'll come back to that in a second. A little flat-headed screwdriver might be better. We got a really skinny one. I do have a really skinny one. Let's see if we can get that out. Try not to damage it in the process because I'd like to reuse it if I can. If not, I will have to just order one. I think we might have to just order one. Oh no, we might be alright. Got it. Right, we'll pop this in for the meantime and I'll get one on order because I'm not really happy with it. Saying that, it's a bit different. I'll try. Okay, well, let's see how that goes. And again, we might need to get some heat on this as well if I can't get it to move. Normally what you can do is get something pointy under here and wiggle it out the other way, but it doesn't always go like that. I got a really small flathead. Let's see if we can get something under there. Oh, here you go. Got it. Not quite welded in, but pretty welded in. Don't think I'm going to be able to reuse that tape. I've got some tape that I can stick on the bottom there, unless there's tape on this new one. There's not. No, we'll get some tape on the bottom of that. So let me grab some tape and then we will carry on. Right, so I've got a little bit of double-sided tape on the bottom of this now, as you'll see. So we'll just pop that back in there. And that should hold it lovely and firm. And that was not going anywhere. Amazing. Right, now, is this going to just come out in one piece? Just disconnect that camera. Just a little bit worried I'm going to damage it if I don't. There we go. So we've got a couple of challenges here. We've got to try and get this button flex out because that's not on the new one. And we also need to try and get this speaker out as well. The camera I'm not worried about at all. That will just come. There we go. So again, what we'll do is we'll just reattach that to the board. Just make my life easier. So that's done. Let's put this one back in as well, just so I'm not missing anything or having it flap around. That flex needs just wiggling over just a touch. I'll sort it out just a second. I'm going to have to lift the whole thing. There we go. Okay. I will take this out ahead of time as well. Yeah, come on. You're going to lift out nicely. There we go. Perfect. Right. Let's also get this speaker cover out. Speaker? No mic. Yeah, no speaker. Ear speaker, that one is. Okay. I'm going to try and now get the ear speaker out of this one. I'm going to go back to my little pointy screwdriver again. Hopefully that will give me just enough to get it out. Yes. Oops. I don't want the grommet with it because I've got a new grommet. So I'll just take that off. I'll pop that straight onto here. So that's out. Okay, so the only thing we're now left with is this assembly here, which we're going to have to be incredibly careful with. So I'm going to start with a tiny little screwdriver and just see if I can just lift it a bit. Might need some heat, but we'll just try this first. And if it comes, it comes. If it doesn't, it doesn't. It's looking like we might be all right. Oh, that's well stuck down. Ooh. Okay. Right, we got that out. Next bit is the buttons, though. That's where the tricky bit really is. It might actually be alright, you know. It almost never happens where it actually comes out first time. And then I don't damage it. Oh, 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 oh. Okay, I'm going to go from this side now. Oh, there we go. Oh, sweaty palm moment that was. Right, and then back on here. They line up with little blobs, so you can't really get it wrong. Might need to get a little bit of tape in there, but we'll just try without and see if it goes. I'm going to get a little bit of adhesive in there, I think. Let's just see if it wants to sit in without it. Okay, let's get a little bit of tape in there. I've got some really skinny stuff, so that will do the job nicely. Let's grab that. I've got some really skinny double-sided tape, which I just need a little bit of. And of course, as soon as I chop it off, I lose it. There we go, found that one. That'll be right, that'll do the job. The challenge is now though, getting the back off. Again, I'll switch to our little metal screwdriver just to get the back off. Actually, I'm going to reposition that slightly. There we go, that's better. So, use this to make sure it's really stuck down. And we'll see if we can get the back off again. There we go. Lush. It's going nowhere now. Cool, right, I think that's everything transferred. So let's just do a quick final check. Only thing, I just need to transfer that filter, but I'll do that in a minute because that can be done at the end. So let's start putting stuff back in now. I'm sure someone will be screaming at me for something I've missed, but I'll try without. Make sure everything fits into the right places. Oh, hang on. Does that need to come out? Aha! We do need to do one more thing. See, I told you you'd be screaming at me for something I've missed. In here, I could see when I'd fitted the camera, it wasn't quite snug. There's a little rubber grommet. There you go, look. So let's try that again. That's a bit better. That feels a little bit more snug. I do feel like it just needs a bit of a wiggle though, because it's not... There we are. Much better. This cable that I've attached down here actually needs to come back up because this cable tucks under it and then plugs into our board. And then that can plug back in again. There we go. So that's all now nicely seated. Now let's do the top half. This is where we might need to adjust again. So what I'll do is I'll do this in a slightly bit of a weird way. I'll seat it first and then I'll tuck everything down. Perfect. Okay, let's start taking some of these other bits of tape off so that we can stick the battery in. Now let's just connect this camera, the LCD. That was connected, just didn't feel like it was. So I would have thought this is a combined LCD digitizer cable. This is only one. Okay. Perfect. So that's everything in. Next thing we want is our battery. I'm not actually going to connect this battery up right until the last minute. Okay, bottom cover with our speaker. Was there a grommet on there? Let's just check. No, the filter is on this side, so that's good. Right. Switch over my screwdrivers and we'll start buttoning up. I'm hoping this is going to be as smooth as taking it out was. My only slight concern is if I've damaged the fingerprint sensor. But hopefully I haven't. Oh, putting that back in the wrong place. So far, this has been quite a nice phone to work on. This does very much remind me of the Samsung A10, which is very, very similar in terms of its process to take apart and put back together. As I say, I'm going to have to unbutton this because I want to go and replace that little rubber gasket that goes over the mic. So, just for the purposes of this video, though, I'll do a complete strip down and reassemble. Right, fingerprint sensor now. It's the last thing before we attach the battery. So reattach the battery, then we'll start putting screws in. Okay. So there's our lens covers for our cameras and our back plate. And then we'll start buttoning everything back up again. Oops. So what do we reckon so far? Have I got all the screws in the right places? I reckon we're probably 80% chance. Maybe 90. Then last one, and we then have to start putting the back on. Cool, right. This is where it gets a bit fiddly now, I suspect. So we're going to get this fingerprint sensor back in whilst trying to manage all the cables. So we'll do that first, and then we'll start trying to get everything in roughly the right places. Our fingerprint sensor is still in. Buttons are all good. Right, we are reassembled. Let's do moment of truth. I didn't put the filter back in at the bottom, so it's a good thing I got to take this apart again. This might be flat. Oh no, it's not, it's got charge. And the button did work, so that's a good sign. This is looking fairly successful at the moment, but whether or not it actually is another thing entirely. Let's wait for this little thing to turn on, and then I can give it a very quick test. I think this phone might be flat. It is flat. Okay, so I will leave it there. If there's any problems, I will continue on the video. Otherwise, we will consider that a successful repair. Hopefully it's helped you, you repair your Oppo. I'll link in the description where you can get one of these replacement screens along with the mid frame. I'll also do a link where you can just buy the screen. The process is slightly more complicated for that and does require you still disassembling the whole phone and gluing the screen in and all sorts of other goodness. If you found it useful, please drop me a comment, leave me a thank you or a hello. I always try and respond to every question. And hopefully I'll see you in the next one. Thanks for watching.